Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. This one's just going to be a quick update on the U.S.A.C.C 1970 Plymouth group build. I've got until the middle of March to get this one finished. I am a little bit late in the game to get this one started, to be fair, especially with the amount of work I've set myself out to get this one completed. If you'd not seen the last video, I am starting with a build kit. It wouldn't have necessarily been the case had I had an unbuilt kit at the time, but the only one I had was just one I've had up on the shelf, which I bought off eBay. It wasn't a bad builder, to be quite fair. I think through the comments in the last video, quite a few people liked how that one was built. But in all fairness, I did say I tried to sell that one on as it is for very little money, and I didn't get anything for it. So unfortunately, it's, as you can see, it's been subject to the knife already. We've got it all stripped down now. There's not going to be that many usable parts in all fairness. Engine I didn't notice before, but that being swapped out with, I would assume that's like a late model LS motor or GM. I have no idea, to be quite honest, on engines of any kind, to be fair. But yeah, no, that looks like a late model thing. I've got a ton of them and I'll never use them. So I'll have to find a new engine. I think I do have a 70 GTX engine unbuilt in the parts box, so I'll most likely be using that. We'll use the rear axle. It did have a prop shaft attached at some point. But I did make the mistake when I first stripped this down, is I left it on the table for more than half an hour, and when I came back in, this was on the floor, and the prop shaft was not there anymore. So the cats have obviously been mucking about with that. Good news is they were flinging something about in front of me when I was watching the telly the other night, and it turned out to be the prop shaft. So I have found that, so we aren't missing a part. But I mean, I usually just use these kind of things, just because I have animals, or cats to be more specific. I just use these to every time I've finished working on a project, I'll just pop it back in here until the next day. And these ones are quite deep enough to put a body in, interior parts and underneath it. But yeah, that's as far as I got with that. Mark 1 Cortina is not very good, that one at all, to be quite fair. But yeah. I mean, there's other bits that need cleaning up. We'll need to clean up all this spray off the window, but it's only on the surface, so that'll be easy to clean up. Chassis, we'll just probably refinish that. Interior wise, I really don't know how far I'm going to go with it, to be quite fair. Obviously, we're turning it into a 4-door, which makes the door panels a little bit redundant. But at the same time, I am thinking of putting full glass in the side of the car and a bench seat, because these just came with custom seats. I don't know if these are kit issue or not, to be quite fair, but that's all that was in them. I did like this issue because it has the separate door cards, which, if I do want to go to the full extent of making some really nice four-door door cards, this later Revel Roadrunner is the better option, just because they've changed the interior to on it. I think my only issue with going too far in the interior, I mean, I will have to do something, because these lines aren't going to join up with the newly scribed door lines. But I think my only issue is if I've got windows in the full side, and then I'm putting a bench seat in the front, I'm going to put a whole lot of work into putting making this like a mint four door panel, and you're never going to see it. There's no way you're going to see it. So I'm just I'll see what's visible, and and which direction I go. But I don't know if I'm going to go like full hog on this one. Just we got a time scale as well, which I'm up against on this, and I certainly don't want to be wasting a day making something which you'll never ever see again. I know there's a lot of people out there who will go to that trouble, but I don't know yet. I don't know. It depends how quickly I move the body on. But I mean, like I say, we are going to have to do something with them. Otherwise, this line's going to be well off once they're married up against the new door lines. Dash, it looks like it's got some late model steering wheel on there, so we'll have to get rid of that, find a new one. I'll probably do a radio delete on this, being it'll be a sort of a patrol car, so to speak. Other bits and pieces, I think that's a late model radiator surrounding there. The wheels, I don't know if I'm going to use these either, to be quite fair. I mean, there's going to be a lot of work getting them looking correct. So I will see if I've got anything a little bit more suitable in the parts box before we commit to getting all them holes filled and scribing new brake vent holes in the wheels. I think the most thing I was disappointed about, I mean, the model came apart pretty easily, but there were some pieces which were more heavily glued. And I mean, these, I've unfortunately, the two of the hubcaps which I really needed. I think they hadn't even been cut off the trees probably. And like I say, it was a really nice build, but I think obviously there was quite a lot of damage to two of them. There's like big holes in the side, and two of them were just absolutely solid onto the wheels. I'll either have to resin cast these, or one thing, I ain't got any resin left, and it's just another expense to finish a build. I'm certainly not spending another 35-40 quid on a new one of these just for a couple of hubcaps. I'll have to see what I'm doing with that one. Tail lights won't be using. We may flip them. It's just that the satellite Belvedere tail lights aren't the same as these. So I'll probably just make some brand new ones for myself. Got the bumpers and grille strips. This got a quite nice front bumper. It's got the rubber strips. These are bump guards on here. I know, I think a lot of people just leave them chrome, but these should be black. These are rubber bump guards, so that's quite a nice thing for the front bumper. They don't have them on the rear bumper. Again, I think all I'll end up doing to these is I'll potentially make some bumper overriders, or but I don't think there doesn't have to be much work in them. The bumpers weren't much different between models, to be quite fair. There's just a few minor little bits and pieces that we'll need to look into. But so this is the body. This is how far we got with the body. We've obviously stripped all the paint off it when it was prepped before whoever did it. Obviously sanded off the body really well, because it's got a lot of staining after we use that paint strip a bit. We got it all off there. I think I did accidentally leave this in while I was stripping it, so I couldn't get in fully, so we'll have to carry on getting the rest of the paint off that. But so yeah, I think first thing we've done, We started cutting out the tail lights. Obviously, had a bar in there between in the middle before, which the satellites didn't have. So we've just got to do a bit of reshaping. We've got to make these more pointy on the insides. But yeah, other than that, we've obviously taken off these rear quarter panel side vents. I never really liked them on the GTX or the Roadrunner anyway, to be quite honest. I thought they would almost look like a bit of a wart just stuck in the middle of a panel. But so yeah, I mean, the plastic now is really, you can almost see daylight in it. I just wanted to use a strong file at first because it's quite a prominent feature on there. And if I use sandpaper, then you're rubbing out too much material around it. So I just started with a file, just filed them right down to the point where you just needed a bit of finishing off with sandpaper. This one the same. So we've got, I think the last bits which are left over are these, which just need a skimmer filler. We've started doing we've scribed the new doors. I haven't filled any of the old stuff yet, so it's quite difficult to pick up. For some reason my camera's really not focusing today at all. But yeah, we started scribing all the new all the door lines. They do need a bit of tidying up here and there. What I generally end up doing is I'll put a skimmer filler. Once I've got them pretty much right, I'll give it all a very light skimmer filler over, and then just while the filler's wet, I'd probably just re-scribe those. It just tidies up the edges a little bit. I mean, in all fairness, I've done a pretty neat job on this. I got to the end of it and then just remembered that I just bought them scriber tools, which would have helped. But I did give them a little try on something else after, and I think I'm going to need a bit more practice on using them scribing tools anyway. Before, on these I just use straight edges. Sometimes I just hold a razor blade and just use that as a straight edge. But yeah, I mean, we got the doors altered now. This door does look a little bit too long at the moment, but I've measured it from pictures and what have you, and I also have a 1/25th resin body of a 68 Roadrunner. So I'm just trying to get measurements off that and scale up to 1/24th, but none of the, I've still got a lot of work to do in here. It needs all the inner door frame channels working in. It's got a quarter light on this rear door, which is going to really, I think that's what we're seeing at the moment, is we've got the quarter light in this door, which makes this one look really long, but we've got a quarter light in the rear door to go in, and like I say, all the channels to the door frames to go in, and then we've got to redo a rain gutter in there. For the rear part of the roof, I was toying with cutting windows out of other kits and fixing them in, and yeah, first of all I was going to use a 71 CUDA rear window and then sort of section it in half and stretch it, and but doing all that, you're just causing yourself as much work and costing you so much more money in chopping up another kit. I just thought I'll work with what I've got. So basically, I've already notched out because on the GTX and the Roadrunner it obviously slopes down, and you've got much more of a rake on this rear window panel here. So I always start by notching out that severe slope for the coupes. I mean, that shape's not perfect. Yeah, it does need to sort of round off a little bit more into that edge. So that was the first thing I did, and that was really to get a good eyeball on these door lines as well. Rear window, yes. Then I've obviously, all I did was I just ran a line of tape around here. Give me a rough line to cut with, and I think it was this size razor saw I used, and I just literally started cutting it. I did a straight cut up on the top first, and then I just sort of lent it down, did one side at a time, just so I could get it off all in one piece. And then once that was done, because it's supposed to have a sort of taller rake on the rear window, I probably cut maybe about 4mm, maybe 3 or 4mm out the bottom of each of these posts, and sanded it to the angle roughly which I wanted it. Obviously the rear window needs a lot more work, and because the shape of the rear window is completely wrong on the bottom, so we're just gonna, I've retained that bottom line there. I've cut all the trim out for it to start off with, because I didn't need to be dealing with that. So what I'm going to be doing is just running another trim line around there, so that should round off the windows the way they're supposed to be, and then we'll see how much new trim work we have to put in. We're probably going to end up putting a brand new window trim in here, just so we've got something to bare metal file. I'm not too sure yet, but so yeah, I mean, obviously next stage for the body, we're going to have to fill this in the best we can. I'm going to try and get as much styrene back in here as possible. I mean, obviously the easy way is to just put some sheet styrene behind there and just fill it with filler, but if I can get some plastic back in there, then it's just going to sort of save the risk of too much sinking in the future. I mean, I've got a pretty good body filler, but over time I can just see that moving, so we're gonna have to support it anyway. So yeah, there's so there's still quite a lot of work to go, and it's hard to really tell how far we've got with it so far, because it's still in the very roughed up stages. And I think the only other thing we've got to do past that is the hood. The hood needs a lot of work as well. I mean, there's nothing really, except from the shape of it. Yeah, the hood's completely different on the satellites. This whole bonnet bulge isn't here, and I thought, well, that'll be quite an easy thing, because we can just splice it down here, lower this down into it, and do a bit of filling here and there. But when you're looking at the actual pictures, it does have they do have feature lines, like a very shallow dip either side. So we're gonna have to, I don't even know whether I'm gonna cut the hood around here and around the back, and potentially just drop it down a slight fraction, so we've got them 2 feature lines on the side of the hood, and then we can just put the center feature line up the middle. But so yeah, I mean, there's obviously still quite a lot of work in that. These conversions, some of them are easy. This one's a bit more challenging. Just weird me working on a 124 kit. Usually I'd go to all this trouble for 125th only, but yeah, like I say, you can't get these I mean, obviously Joanne did one back in the 70s and did the promos, but they're ridiculous money, and the last thing you'd want to do if you could actually get hold of one of them is start chopping it up to do a 4-door conversion. So yeah, I mean, like I say, it's always a project I had in mind, and I think we're going to go with I have ordered some Seattle police decals from J&S in the States. Well, I've ordered quite a few of other variants. Thought I might as well do a bigger order and get them all shipped over at the same time. But yeah, that's I'm hoping they turn up in time, because that's always the car I've looked at on Google. If you put in 1970 Plymouth police car, it's the first one that turns up. It has a really nice paint job. It's white on the bottom and like metallic blue on the top side. And the reason why I'm really wanting to go for that colour is, like I say, it's the thing I've been looking at for many years with this project in mind. But because it's a monogram 1/24th, they're such a chunky body, I mean, on this scale, and I think having that break, the two-tone with the metallic blue on top and the white on the bottom, I think that's going to sort of stretch out the appearance of it a little bit, make it look a little bit sleeker and longer, rather than a big massive slab of styrene, so to speak. So yeah, well, I was going to do a bit more on this and show you and add that to this video, but again, it's 22 minutes now and I've rambled on. So I think what I'll do now is I'm going to finish off this video. Probably do a bit more work on it now, to be fair. I do want to get some plastic glued in there so I can start actually sanding it and getting some filler in there. I did sort of save the door handles I spliced off as well, because we made use them for resin copies. Well, we're going to need another one now, guys. Yeah, because that one's over there. But yeah, so we'll get this closed off. At least it gives us an opportunity for another video a little bit sooner. So yeah, I think I'll get this uploaded and then we'll do a little bit more work and show you where we are. But I didn't want to really take it any further than this, to be quite fair, because I do want to show you guys, you know, what I'm doing, and you know, you throw primer under that and you kind of start forgetting bits like removing all this stuff that you've had to do, and you don't really see obviously the cut lines on how I'm doing it. I'm not saying it's the right way of doing it. I'm certainly no master builder or anything like that. I couldn't produce a body for a resin thing to be successful enough. But I'd like to, and once this is finished, there's going to be things which aren't correct on it. I'm sure, but you know, there's something about converting something out of styrene yourself rather than using a resin body, which makes it a bit more satisfying. The only other thing I forgot to mention is I did check on the rear, the trunk lid, and this panel here is, well, the trunk lids are 1 year only for 70, and they didn't differ between the 2-door and the 4-door. So I think the only difference is in the trunk lid, where the ones which had a spoiler as fitted from the factory, those holes were pre-drilled, obviously. But yeah, the 2-door and the 4-door trunk is exactly the same. I think the rear panel's pretty much the same, except from the rear lights. Like I said, I've just got them squared out at the moment. They just need that peak put in towards the inside. So yeah, but yeah, it's I'll shut my face now, because I said I'd finish this video three or 4 minutes ago, and I'm still rambling on. So yeah, so what we'll do is we'll get everything. We'll get this a little bit further on. Post another video. I don't know if I said it at the beginning of the video, but as always, thanks to everybody who's liked, shared, and subscribed, commented. We're picking up a little bit more pace now. I think we're about 350 subscribers, so we're doing really well. Especially for a guy from the UK, which there's not a great deal of us over here that dabble in this hobby still. So it's those kind of figures are really encouraging for me, to be quite fair. So yeah, let's keep it growing. I will strive to do more videos. Like I say, we've still got the internet issues. They're being absolute pricks about it, to be quite fair, but nothing much I can do with that at the moment. We're still working around it in other ways until I get word that my contract is going to be cancelled with them. But yeah, that said, again, thanks to everybody. You sometimes I'm a couple of days late to respond to some comments if they've been posted a few days after the video's gone up. But what I end up doing is I go through all my videos every couple of days and just make sure I've not missed anything. So if you're getting a reply a couple of days later, that's all it is that I might be busy at the time you've posted something, I'm not seeing a notification, but I'll always go back into the videos and see if there's anything in there which, because there's been a lot of nice comments over the last week. And I don't want people thinking I'm not ignoring them. It's just, this isn't the only thing we do. So, it's, we will get to it, and thanks for doing that. So, anyway, see you in the next video, and we'll have this one moved on a bit further. Okay, see you, bye.